You're recording.
Thank you, guys.
All right, will call the Grant County Drainage Board to order September 12, recognizing 4 of 5 members present. Mr. Pinkerton is absent. We do have quorum, and we will move right on into the agenda. Approval of minutes first.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Cates has made a motion to approve minutes as presented.
I haven't got to read them because my email's down, so, until.
I wasn't there, so.
Do you want time to read them?
No.
I'll be glad to second the motion.
Okay.
So we have a motion with support. And
A lot of stuff in there, but if you read them.
I read them.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
I read them, but I wasn't there, so.
Okay, well, you read,
Yeah.
that's more than me. I mean, I was there, but didn't read them, so.
yeah, so if
We'll
you
vote.
feel comfortable voting,
What,
we'll go ahead and vote.
yes, yes.
All those in favor would say aye.
I,
Aye. And those abstain.
Abstain.
All right, carried 3-1 abstention. And Jim, if you'll walk us through the claims.
First one's John Repair Service on the emergency work for Massey Creek or drain tile. $3,415. And it's $1,452.06 in the red. We explained it all last time, how that money's gonna bounce back, and we are gonna have a hearing and raise it 25% at, Mr. Hicks's request. IMI Stone, $1,218.73 on Luger Creek, $125,000 in the fund. IMI Stone on Luger Creek again for $1,149.43. And IMI Stone again, $760.63. On Luger Creek, there's $125,306 in that fund. IMI Stone on the Solms ditch, $78.93. There's $4,777 in the fund. We haven't got the final bill for the work we've done out there then, have we, Mary?
No,
Okay. And then Cornerstone Enterprise, $1,329.18 on Luger Creek,
that's for the trucking of the stone.
the trucking of the stone, okay.
I assume this was, where did we put all this stone? Was it Warchers or?
Yes, it's washes that we're fixing on Luger Creek to keep the sediment out.
Okay.
We just fix them as we find them.
Now, IMI bills us on the stone, right?
Yes,
IMI bills us on the stone.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, the bill Mary.
So the Cornerstone was the trucking to get the stone.
that's
right?
just the trucking of it.
Okay. Making motion, we pay the claims as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second Mr. Cox. Any discussion on those claims? Hearing none. All those in favor would say aye. Aye. It is carried unanimously. And next batch of claims.
Rogers Farm Drainage, $62,513.96 on the Powers tile. $54,739.67 in the fund. There still needs to be from the private individuals, $6,874.13 still needed to be contributed to the Drainage Board Fund. The balance in the red will be $7,774.29. Mary's put this together for me. Should bring in about $3,000 in the fall. So have I told them everything, Mary?
Yeah, you did good.
I got
Proud
a
of you.
question. We kicked in money to get
Yep, and let him see that. The green is who I've gotten money from.
And,
Doug Carey came in yesterday and brought me some more.
yeah,
So whatever's highlighted, that's who I've gotten, because I put that list together about
Gosh.
who to go what.
and checks was supposed to be made out to the treasurer's office, but something happened. They made them out to the county surveyor and I had to sign my name. That's more than I make all year. So I'm hoping everybody's okay.
You're gonna get-
Mary pressured me into signing them. So it'd go in your account and we could pay Scott.
I threatened him.
But
Trying to see.
next time treasurer's office, please.
Yeah.
The ones he brought yesterday were right.
Right, good.
Okay. Well, I know we
You
did that.
recognize them names more than I do,
Yeah.
or some of them I don't
Yeah.
know.
He said like Seward, he probably won't get till closer to the end of the year. So
Where's he at on here?
I don't know if Doug has any ground. He just farms a lot of that ground.
I don't know, I think he's the renter. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Doug
Doug
Carey
doesn't
was telling
farm.
me about it
Doug
yesterday.
Farms, he just
Okay.
farms like a lot of acres.
So it was 5,000, 4,000, 9,000, 7,000, 2,000. I'm rounding these up. 10,000, 2,000. Remember the checks that was wrote to booster fund up
Yeah.
this project.
And how much you say it
To
collects a
fund
year?
that tile,
Pardon?
that's what's been carries and so forth written to fund that Powers tile.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah, because they actually had,
does that money well, of course, they got, I understand. There ought to be a way that they could get credit or reimbursed
Well,
for that. I mean, you had to put it in now while it was dry because it's deep and it didn't cave in on you.
apparently Doug was able to talk to all these people who got the checks he got, and I assume he'll get the others, but, you know,
They're basically just gonna get their money back.
yeah. Well,
They paid it up front instead of paying higher taxes.
but the tax won't, the ditch is gonna work good for a long time. They won't
Well,
spend
but
the
if-
maintenance money.
If they hadn't contributed this money, they'd had to raise the rate to raise
Right,
the money.
yeah, I'm weighted.
So you pay Peter, you pay Paul.
One way or another, you still gotta pay.
yeah,
Just be glad to have it. They got it so they could do it up front.
right.
You know, yeah, it's just glad that you got the money so they get it done while it's dry.
Yeah.
So if it collects 3,000 a year, you say, is that what?
I'm sorry
How
about
much
that.
does it collect a year?
Twice. 2 times, it's like.
No, how
almost
much?
7,000 a year,
Okay.
Oh, so,
Okay.
but it should bounce back in the fall collection.
And see, they've been waiting on the money to build up to 54,000, right?
yeah.
That was before all this extra.
No, that includes that.
That included that,
Yeah,
okay.
because I changed my numbers on here when I got the
Okay.
deposit.
Move we pay this claim.
Motion, Mr. Cox,
Second.
second, Mr. Cates. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye. Aye, and abstaining?
Abstain.
All right, we've paid our bills. Little Crane Pond, we'll start moving on that now that we're getting Hummel Creek behind us. I'll update you here again on this one Crane Pond issue, but we'll start the attorneys working again now that we've got Hummel Creek behind us.
Yeah, they won't, because neither one of us want it. The city don't want it, we don't want it.
Yeah, well, we'll figure out how Pat's gonna take it. Other old business that you're aware of? We don't have anything scheduled for new business right now. Just a reminder that Mary's going to take some sick days and recuperate from putting up with us. I think she's going to just walk away for about 2 months or so, maybe 3.
Boy, I hope we can,
And she's got.
hope we can get her the information so she can keep it up to date.
She is going to be working 5 hours a week from home while she's recuperating. And if it requires more, we'll we'll work that out in the future, but we know we can keep her at least a minimum of 5 hours a week, so.
Okay.
And she has the two public hearings we have on the same day.
I got everything laid out for them.
You've got it all laid out. It's talking me through it. It's all organized and I think I can get through it.
And I may try to hook on the meetings.
Yeah, you can do that.
Does that count towards my hours or probably not?
We'll check with HR and see what that does, because
It'd be nice.
if you're doing the minutes.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to have her there
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
they all have my laptop, but IT has it set up so I can
that
receive
public
emails.
comment?
So if I have,
5 hours.
I would think so, yeah.
if I have claims and stuff, I can go ahead and do them and print them. So from home, I can print them up in his office.
That's
So-
great.
I should be able to keep you guys going.
Don't get used to it, though.
The one thing, yeah, the one thing I have a concern about, we're trying to figure out with Justin, is how to get y'all paid.
Well, we'll generate the thing. We sign it upstairs anyway, so,
Didn't April take care of that?
yeah, April can take care of that for us without a
Well,
problem.
all I would need to do is maybe shoot her or Justin an email and say, you know, all were present or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should not be a problem at all.
I mean, that $50 a meeting is going,
Yeah, it's gonna break me up if I don't get it.
Yeah.
what was that? Now?
$43.68.
Is that what it comes down to?
Now
I
it's
think
very-
something like
Not
that.
even a
I
tank
was
of gas,
looking there.
not even a tank of gas.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys putting up with the headaches that you do for that amount. I know that. It's been a big help for me to have you on board.
I appreciate you guys putting up with everything going on with me right now.
But with the power drain, I was down there looking quite a bit. And I said, I'm getting paid $50 a meeting, so I said, I gotta check.
I'm actually reviewing the pay right now. And, I'm not sure if we can also, if we have to charge for mileage or not, but there are times when, like you said,
And
multiple times, we've got people going out there and $50 a meeting doesn't cover your gas or your wear and tear either.
we're gonna do it for the money. I'm not doing it
Yeah, I
for the
know
money,
that.
You know,
Our last meeting, you guys did not get your money's worth. It was a long meeting.
If it was for the money, we'd be doing something else.
Yeah.
if we didn't have an interest,
Hamburger down McDonald's.
if we didn't have an interest, we wouldn't do it. So it's, yeah. Back to Ron Hyatt and Scott, they crossed the road and I wasn't there. Ron Hyatt said, we're gonna knock your pay.
Well, I just wanted to update you on other business as well. We've been working so hard with this Miss Keefe on Chapel Pike. We had agreed the city was going to buy the pipes. We were going to install. We had gotten the agreements. We found out that there was utilities there. We had worked around the concept of the fiber optic lines, which Gordon has some more issues on fiber here in a minute, but we also found out there's at least a 6-inch gas pipe there, and they are not allowing us to work around that right now. So we're pretty much stalled. Jim and I have talked, and we're trying to figure out a way to present to Dave at least some way to put, there is a culvert, a small culvert at that hot spot. Why can't we get a couple more beside it, or why can't we do some type of design that will allow the water to stay off the road and relieve some pressure? So we're still trying to figure that out. Even though it's not your baby. I didn't get out and actually look at it, but there at the low spot, there's a culvert there. So I know at least we can tell Dave to replace that, open it up,
We
or
might have to mound the dirt up around, because, see, at one time we had it where because the city's water shedded into the county and then came back through Deborah Keefe's backyard, the city was gonna buy the tile and David was gonna put it in, and then we had our meeting this summer. Something got changed, because then the city wasn't gonna buy the tile and David was just gonna build an open ditch. And that's what everybody had agreed to, but then that apparently, because the gas pipeline, it's not rocket science. I think you could still get through plus or minus and get the pipe through there. Now, if the pipeline's gonna shut us down, who's gonna accept the responsibility if somebody hydroplanes?
That's right.
She's been after
It's
this
back
for
on the
quite a few
county.
years to try and fix this damage to her house.
But again, and technically, it's not this board's responsibility, but I wanted to
It's
update you
more-
because we
yeah.
were kind of in on it at the time. So,
It's more of a commissioner's city
yeah,
problem.
yeah, it is.
Now, I was
Is
hoping
it-
Pat would be here today because.
Is it city gas line or where's the gas line go to? Does it go out there?
It goes out
Mount
to
Olive.
300 Mount Olive, and then it drops down to the
So it's just a natural gas.
CIA.
ethanol plant. Yeah,
Oh, it goes to the.
that's where it goes to. It goes out Chapel Pine and then down to the ethanol plant.
I know she's talked to me twice recently and, you know, she was promised this was gonna be done and now she's looking at another winter of flooding, you know.
Well, is the problem with the gas company, the contractor, or what?
David told me the gas company wouldn't let us do it because of the pressure that it would put on. That's what I understood.
So it must be too shallow.
So the pipeline, the pipes would be on top of it, apparently. So I was hoping
So
they
it
could,
must be shallow.
I was hoping they could locate it, wash it off sewer jet,
They can't go
put the,
one
slide
side.
the
to the
pipes under it and maybe dig a little bit deeper hole on the other side of the road.
Cross it.
And see that other
other.
location.
What I'm getting at, Wendell one under one over there.
Oh, yeah, it's doable.
Under one, but I think David said if we go under it, we may be at a dump point lower than the pond.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
See, and I
Well,
remember
that's-
something with the sewer line, something's in the way on the other, what you're talking about on the other, Pat talked about.
So our idea is at least let's figure out how to get a couple more culvert pipes under there so we can at least take the surface water off of it.
And then maybe David could do some diking so it didn't run around on her west side of the property and mess it. with
So
the
for
foundation.
property. You know, dike to hold it back.
In a sense, I just wanted to update you.
That's like the city just needs to buy her house.
Somebody does.
Well, the electrical box is right there in the
Yeah.
utility easement, which is a drainage easement, but it's not platted as. a
If you want to do some rabbit chasing, we can always go back to saying bad engineering started this whole thing out, but we're gonna leave it alone.
That's, we know who started.
Across the
right?
street, right?
What's the outlet for that retention on its, on
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that.
I can't tell you.
It's private property.
that, if that retention pond was designed to supposedly take the water from the or the housing development, it already has a cross road into that pond also.
Somewhere.
Well, if you catch this water before in the back of the house, okay? And take it east, do you have to go through somebody's yard or whatever?
In the housing development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'd be taking it through yards and road to get to the,
And I think that they figured out that that pond's not big enough to handle any additional water.
okay, well, we're kicking a dead horse, so
Good.
let's,
I asked that question. This is a drainage board issue.
it's not, so
Who's gonna be talking to Deborah Pugh?
I will be talking with David some more and you and I are gonna double team him and then until we've got an answer, we can hear her frustration, but there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
And that David's the next spot. Can we get some kind of a trench? Can we get some type of a couple more culverts that'll take that surface water and give her lack of pressure?
I think a lot of it could be cut off south of her house and diverted surface wise to the west.
Well, that was Dick Bragg's original plan with a tile,
Even without.
with a little earthen mound and,
Do the earth and mountain, forget the tile, just make it go surface ways that way.
well, you're digging a, well, that goes through where they have a garden spot.
Seems like, there's
They have
another
a-
house to the west of Keefe and they've got stuff back behind it. And that rises kind of to the southwest, doesn't it?
Yeah.
the house has never been put there.
They were willing to put a tile in, that neighbor was willing to put a tile into that other location. That's where the Cates have, Ron Cates have his little tile come down through there. But they wanted to do it when the garden wasn't in, because they have a real large garden.
All right,
That
let's,
was originally Dick Bragg's plan.
let's go to fiber optics in Gordon.
Okay. Yesterday I got a call between 600 south and 700 south. They were boring in the right of way. And I had calls from many people and I got a call from David White. They did apply, but they didn't follow the deal. Plan said, open chain.
Uh-huh.
And they just did what they wanted to do. So I don't know how these people don't, the plot was to chain it in, but they just started boring. And of course, this outfit is just boring and,
Going.
yeah, go on. I don't know how you stop them, you know?
Do we have in our, I have to go back because it's a commissioner, ordinance, but do we have a fine associated with that? I'll have to check.
I don't know, but it's probably not.
I think if you check into it, what you're gonna find out is they've let these fiber optic contracts. Biden's pushing this money. They've let these fiber optic contracts and say Gordon gets a contract, then he farms it out to somebody else. And they don't check to see what regulations there is, because when they put the one on 50th Street, those boys was from Florida.
They put it in the cheapest, fastest way they can.
Yeah, well, they're trying to put in so much and they're letting these Swayze over there, fiber, whatever they call that, Fiber Hawk or whatever it is. He come in and bought the Swayze phone company, okay? We thought he was gonna be, his dad owned one in Batesville. They give the one in Batesville to his brother, and he took the one in Swayze. Well, the first thing you know, they laid a couple fiber optic deal, and then the government's got them going all over Indiana, putting in fiber optics,
Getting that okra money. That's what we're doing.
you know?
But I don't know we have to police it, but how? And my
Who
nephew,
polices it?
the farmer's got a police, but we don't have any power.
Yeah.
And I would, if it was on my farm, I'd try to have some power, but these guys, well, I'm working here.
Well, the only thing you can do is if you see them, then we can call Dave White or whatever and let him go out and see what.
Yeah, they have to file that paperwork with Dave, so technically he's got authority to do the policing.
Yeah, that's what you do.
But the problem is if somebody goes in over there at the county highway garage, they get some receptionist out there or whatever, and she said, well, I'll just give you a permit or whatever, and maybe she don't explain to them.
Yeah.
Or maybe the person that applied the permit didn't explain to the guy he was hiring to do it.
Yeah,
What the permit says.
yeah, well, you know,
Because David said it was, the permit said chained in. Well, they didn't chain it in. And I'm wondering if they can make them dig all that out and chain it in, even though it's already in, to make sure that they didn't hit no time.
you're not gonna get involved with that. I mean,
No.
whoever they let the contract to needs to be liable for any ditches. If you know where your ditches are and go out, then they're liable to come back and repair your tile.
Well,
You
I,
feel a little pile of orange tile, more likely the cable's right at the end of
Everybody's
the
long
tile.
gone.
well, one of my properties, they hit a tile. The guy said, we're too busy, we'll come back in the fall. He gave a number. They finally did come back and fix it. You had to keep after them. When are you gonna get there to fix it? And we want to be there but most of them are in and out and gone.
Yeah, we put the ordinances
Yeah.
together to give us some stability. And if, people are abusing it, then we've got to crack down in some way.
Well, we gotta know who's some farmer or somebody's gotta call and say, hey,
Yeah.
they're
Doing it.
because you never know where they're putting fiber optic.
No,
Yeah.
no, you know, they come in and they're in and out and they don't do it right, what do you do, you know?
It's all about money.
Yeah,
Jim, question on this. If they're putting in fiber optics and they're coming through our right of way, aren't they supposed to ask us for permission to work in our right of way?
Yeah, I know, David's got a copy of the drainage easement or the drainage county drains. We don't have the private ones.
Right?
But, if he looks at them, he could notify me and I can keep track of them.
But who issues the permit over there? Does David do it or does the receptionist?
I don't
And the
know.
receptionist doesn't know.
yeah,
Like when they were going under Deer Creek, Gordon seen them. He sent me out there and I talked to a guy and he assured me that they were gonna go down lower than they ever needed to under the ditch. Otherwise, they were gonna be in where we need to dig it out in a few years.
Yeah.
If
And
you,
he seemed like I believed he did.
Well.
Go deeper
How
after
do
I
you know
talked to
for
him.
sure? They had to bring a different machine.
But they did wait to get them a different
Yeah.
machine to get what we needed. Otherwise, they're gonna be too shallow next time it got dipped out there. it is.
But how do you know for sure? You just have to
Trust them.
trust them.
well, if you remember at the last meeting, I said that the boys over at Swayze was telling me that they got over in Clinton County and they had to go to every house, every farm and get a signed easement because we got an easement in Grant County, we got an easement down along the road. And over there, the property owner owns to the middle of the road.
Hmm.
And there was 160, forget what it was, 165 easements, but they had to send a gal over there to get signed so they could go through.
Interesting. Well, looks like I'm talking with Dave over a couple different issues. So, but we definitely need to
But
tighten
we
that
gotta-
up.
We gotta watch too, because they sneak in or not sneak in, just come in and they're probably gone in a
Day or two.
day or two, and you gotta.
Yep.
Cause I had had 3 different calls. I said, yeah, well, they're not doing it. Well,
Right. All right, any other business?
I was telling these guys, I had a meeting Thursday with John Martin. He's booking all these fiber optic places.
So,
And him,
solar.
solar place.
solar, yeah. He'd been on me 4 times in the last month, okay? Because he knows I'm not very happy with the way they're doing this. Don't get me wrong, I'm 100% against solar. I'm against putting them on over these tile
Mm-hmm.
that's 100 years old. That they will tell you, they'll come back and repair a tile. But when I get saying, hey, if you're gonna put a fiber optic or solar over tile, you may have to come in and put in a new tile. And he says, how much it costs? I said, we can be between 500,000 and 700,000. He said, oh, no, we're not gonna do that. On your place at Sims, they're going right south of that old church.
Mhm.
That tile goes, there's a 21-inch tile, goes right down through the center of that field. To, what is it, 400 down there or whatever? The head wall's down there at the T road.
It's been a long time since I've looked there.
Well, when you go down, when you go past the church and go south on
Yeah.
that road past the elevator, the
Yeah.
main drag, that goes down there to T road.
Mhm.
That's where that open creek is, okay? And then there's a 15, another 15 in that field west of the county tile that drains the town. Now, some way, they're gonna have to stay off of these tile. Jimmy and I gets into it. He keeps yelling 75 feet. Gordon got in a situation over there on this Powers drain. And he said they was probably 150 foot off of the original pile
To get enough depth.
to get
Oh,
enough
to get
depth.
depth.
Nope.
Because they put it in, old timers put it in and they did the best they could.
Now, Kenny, the people south of Sims, have they told the solar people that there's this tile?
They don't know they're there.
So nobody's done any research, huh? They're just signed up and they don't know that they've got to fool with the.
And this is-
Tile.
This isn't
I'll tell you
our
what,
tile, it's a
that-
mutual tile.
There's two. There's a 21-inch county tile that drains the whole town of Sims, and there's a private, 15-inch
Yeah.
that goes up there too?
But that would consider that a mutual tile.
The
where-
private, but the county's, the 21-inch is the county easement
What drain
tile.
the
They
whole
pay
town
taxes.
stems.
They pay taxes on that one.
Yeah, it's not very much, but
So
you know,
again, that's a marked one. That's ours.
Yeah, it's on the maps.
And we know,
But the
At the-
others are mutual.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's part of what we had already had talked about is that if they're going to come in on things, they have to mark and determine any mutual drains that are also on the property. That was part of our requirement.
well, but that,
Who's gonna enforce it?
Who's gonna,
Be
We,
there.
if they don't mark it, we don't check it off and it doesn't go to the APC. It stops with us if they don't do the development of the mutual drains. That was part of the whole deal. We don't send them back to area plan if they don't meet up with our requirements.
Who's the farmer that can show them that private tile?
Barry Keith farms it.
Okay, he can pretty much say, it's about right in here.
He can probably take a probe and hit within 10 foot of it.
Well, that's what, when they get ready, they're gonna have to do all that homework, look at the county plat.
That's part of your power as this board is you can't put that farm there if you don't designate the mutual drains and we know they're there, find them. We're telling them they have to.
And they have to
Well,
stay on.
and that's in the ordinance?
It's not in the ordinance, it's in our requirements for the water plan before we ever give approval to say it can go on.
Okay.
But you know, some of these may be 2 or 3 years and some of us may not be around then, okay?
Well, that's,
Same rules still ought to be there.
I know.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
know.
It is.
But you take like these people that signed up for this don't live around Swayze or Sims, okay? And have no idea. They inherited what we're running into. They inherited this ground,
Mhm.
okay? And.
Never been on a tractor on the ground, doesn't even
Never
know.
seen it.
That's right,
They
yeah.
don't know where the farm's at, probably.
Yeah, and, you know, we haven't got enough money in the Lumbo or the Zirco tile to replace them. And we could, you know, you'd have to come in and assess those guys $100 an acre, 75 anyway, in 5 years to get enough money to replace the tile.
I've lived on my farm my entire life, and I don't know where all the ditches are.
Well,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But again, that's part of the power of this board is you guys have the authority to say, it's not going to area plan until you prove where those drains are and how you're going to maintain them. That's just part of the beauty of, you have that power.
Well, what we was gonna do, and we wasn't gonna use your boy, the attorney across the street. Okay,
It's okay.
we was gonna get a good drainage attorney to write up an appendix to put in the lease, a one-page appendix. You know, if they, before they'd sign a lease, if they'd read the, it's gotta be 150 foot from a county tile and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
Then instead of reading the 46-page contract, they read it on one simple page, okay? And this boy, that's what this boy agreed to, that he'd send it to the headquarters to get that job done.
Yeah, I would do it.
They'll probably, the lawyer up there say, no, we can't do it that simple. We gotta have 14 pages.
If
Cover the-
they're amenable to that, that's the place to do it, is get the agreement with the landowner. That's even better.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And we still got power
Yeah, yeah,
to say, where's the drain? How are you gonna maintain it?
but I mean, it's unfortunate. I know where all these are, okay, because I farmed around them, okay, for years.
You know what? I bet there's some there you don't know, are there?
Yeah,
Oh, there is. I'm not questioning that, but I know where I know
Those are
where
the
the main,
1850
the
type.
mains are, because I tell you what, they all been
Repaired.
repaired, okay? What's his name's got 24-inch over there to repair that, circle tile. Oh, but anyway, and he just repairs it and don't turn the bill in. We used to repair the Lumbo and get Cook out there, or what, Arthur get Cook out there to repair it or whatever, you know, because there never was enough money in the project.
You
You know, you could never get any ahead at the rate you're going.
I think Ryan wants to say something. He actually came on screen, so.
I will say this, if your drainage laws are anything like our building laws are, and you're wanting to go to 150 instead of 75, for our building laws, we have to be at minimum equal to the state code. We are allowed to be greater than the state code, but we have to go through the state for approval. So I think.
But we're not talking about us mandating it. We're talking about a contractual relationship between the landowner and the solar people. It wouldn't be us.
But you're still going above state code. So if
We are, they are.
well,
Contract-
I mean, you would have the argument of a landowner saying, what gives you the right to go above state code without state approval?
This is if I understand Kenny right, this is a portion of their contract with the solar company. And it's a contractual agreement between them. Technically, nothing that we are imposing. It's a landowner getting an extra piece of paper that says, this is what I want in my contract.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And that's a legal document between the provider and the leasee. So we have nothing to do with that. Our minimum still says 75 from top of bank each way.
Right,
That's what ours would be.
okay. I thought you were gonna write something in there for 150. And I was say it's like pulling teeth to say this is why Grant County is different than all the other 92.
Yeah, we're just on the side telling a representative would say, you have the right to add this into your contract if you want it.
And I would again, like the one I gave you guys from, I think, Vigo County, it's going to be a 2-year study on this drainage. So before they ever hand it to you, they'll actually go through a 2-year study on drainage on all these properties. So, I mean, again, it's not gonna be spend a weekend and talk to an owner or two. You're gonna get an inch thick 2-year study on drainage.
And we gotta check all our boxes off before we send it back to you.
Right.
What you don't understand, and I understand what your situation is, you want the money. It's all about money.
Doesn't come to my department.
Well, but it's just like here. Here's a 100-acre farm, okay? When they come in, you think you're gonna get $1,000 an acre for a 100-acre farm, okay? They'll pay you $5 an acre for that 100-acre farm, $5 or $6 an acre, whatever it is. And if they want to come in right here for 35 acres or 30 acres, that's the only thing they're paying you the $1,000 on. But they've still got the whole farm tied up into $5 or $6. Okay? And if these people in Florida or whatever, I'm just using Florida as an example, okay? If these people knew that, they wouldn't necessarily sign the contract. Because then the farmer up here has to farm around their project, their fences and their trees or whatever they're putting in. Like I say, there's places to put these.
And like we found, like Randolph County and some of the other counties, you know, they will lease for every 10 acres for every 10 acres leased, only 4 to 7 acres of that 10 acres will be used for solar. The rest of it is generally left to agriculture. So like Randolph County and stuff, that's where you see half of the field is solar, half of the field is still, agricultural.
Raymond, did you have something you want to share with us before we?
Just on if you're gonna get a property owner to put the 150-foot setback, they're probably not the one that's inherited the property living in another state. Those are people that would cooperate with you, whereas the ones that are out of state want as much as they can, they're not gonna sign a reduction of their easement.
Yeah. Could be, yeah.
I think that you'll find out that if these 3 or 4 guys has got ground that water comes through me, and if I put in a solar farm and the ditch breaks down and their drainage don't work, they can come back and sue the landowner. I've heard this legislation, okay?
It's impeding the flow of water.
That's correct.
And I think as we find out where these solar farms are gonna go, all adjoining landowners that's in the watershed need to be notified, and we need to have a meeting with them, not necessarily a public hearing, but send them notice to attend a meeting to discuss what they know about the drainage.
Mm-hmm.
So that, because they can enlighten the board sometimes. Yeah, I know there's this tile goes right through here and that's in the way.
We need to go back and we need to make sure that everything has been noted in what our requirements are. But one of our requirements, as I recall, was that we would have a public hearing on whether these properties had mutual drains on them.
Well, but this guy goes in, or the solar company goes in and signs up a farm, okay? And then it ends up with us. And we say, you can't do it on account of you're not 150 foot out of the county tile, okay? Gordon if you listen to Gordon there just a minute ago, on that Powers drain, they had to get close to 150 foot out of the original basin to get cover on a tile.
And that's the problem, because the old tile is too shallow.
Hmm.
And we've got the capabilities now to go out and get covered.
And drop it down to a level you can get the water flow. Yeah.
And we want to stay on a 1/2 inch coefficient of water, so, It's,
An interjection on that part, I think if you were to push the issue with that part, I think you would have legal grounds because most of the ditches that are in the books upstairs, the legal drains were put in for the health and safety of the community. So in order to accomplish that, if you have to scoot over to one side or the other to get the coverage, it's still for the health and safety of the community.
Yeah, because they're all overloaded where they are.
That's why they were put in, that's why they were made
Yeah.
regulated drains.
well, they get worse
Right.
because they come in pattern tile. He'll tell you that they've been putting in 40 foot.
And they're hooking up to 120-year-old
Yeah.
tiles.
Yeah, yeah.
With all this
And I
pattern
think what?
tiling.
50 years ago, they was in 15-acre fields. Dead furries, fence row. Tree.
Had to
Today,
need to convert some of them back to open ditches maybe, but nobody wants to hear that.
today, he just told me that one farm they're working on up there is 400 acres, right?
Yep.
They're farming 400 acres. No fences. They're pattern tile it with, on 40 foot,
Centers.
you know? And
That probably went into natural drainage, didn't it, Richard? Is it going into natural drainage like a swale or,
No, it's going in an open ditch.
open ditch? Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't have a problem because most of mine goes into a natural ditch. But I mean, these people that do have problems are good farmers.
Yep.
And the price of ground and so on and so forth, they come in to drain it. You know,
And this money it's gonna generate, it's gonna affect all the offices because the council's gonna get more money, Ryan. And then the first thing you're gonna wanna do is grow your budget and grow your office. And that's what, the next county surveyor isn't gonna be able to figure out how I've been able to do this for so many years because they're gonna need new everything because everything I got's wore out.
Yeah.
So everybody, this money is gonna come in, everybody's gonna be wanting some of it
well,
Yeah, well.
through the council.
the figure that I heard, it's no wonder these guys are after the money. Okay? But we're gonna have farm ground around here, or we're gonna start shipping stuff from China over here to eat.
They don't have enough to eat the way it is.
You know,
That's where they're buying our property up.
if you get down around Indianapolis, Noblesville or whatever, they're just building every place,
On 65 the other
you
day.
know?
Great big warehouses, I don't know how many acres.
And these people don't, I understand these people, we got power lines right over, you just look up in the air and you farm around them, okay?
Mhm.
That's why these people want over where they're at.
Yeah.
They don't want someplace that they gotta run a 5 mile power line to a substation,
They want access, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm done.
All right. We have
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion with support. All in favor, say aye. And all in favor of Mary having a successful
Yes.
surgery.
Good luck.
Very good luck.
Thank you.
Thoughts and prayers are with you.
Did he motion and you second?
Yep.
Kenny thirded it.
Did you say, what did you say you was having done?
Where?
What did you say you was having done?
Oh, sure. If you're squeamish.
What are you having? A bone graft?
Yeah, they got I got broken,
One's not staying.
One of them's not using.
Right.
yeah. So those two are broken and then the break is still there.
Hmm.
That's holding my ligament in place. So they're gonna detach